The warehouse now looked like a scene from hell with bodies lying all over the ground. Lieutenant Kang's eyes were colder than ice. He looked nothing like himself anymore. He turned around slowly and stared at me as if I was only a bug. What had just happened? Was he pulling a prank on me? But he looked entirely serious when he killed Choi Yo-han with one blow. Or rather, was this some kind of initiation test? A test that I had to pass to become an official member of Unit 4. My brain was still completely disoriented when my body jumped back by instinct. There was nothing left in the lieutenant's stare, except deadly menace. It was no prank, nor a test. I could feel that was standing in front of me at this moment was not a normal human, but a dangerous beast. It was waiting for me to expose my vulnerability so that he could lunge at me and tear out my throat. We were both standing dead still. We were both staring deep into each other's eyes. And we were both thinking of the best ways to prevail. I didn't have enough confidence. Even at the Shaolin Temple, I had never faced an opponent like this before. And here I have something about Shaolin Temples. Nevertheless, I began to feel something, perhaps because of my training at the temple. I was feeling nothing. Quite contrary to what I just said. But growing excitement, and I was eager to give it my all in this fight. It was almost as if I had been waiting for this day my whole life. It would not do me any good if we kept stalling like this. I decided to at least poke my opponent first. In the world of Kung Fu, speed defines the winner. Here's a little bit about Kung Fu. No more money for you. Time to fight. He raised the gun. I flung my tail out as hard as I could. I took a shot and flung my tail out from my sleeve. What is this, Assassin's Creed? The spear had cut through the air with a shimmer aimed at Lieutenant Kang's right hand, which was holding his gun, but it stopped right before the lieutenant. Kang's left hand clenched into a fist and he slowly lowered it. He was holding my tail firmly in his hand. Despite having been cut by the spear tip, blood was dripping down from his wrist. Behind his fist, his eyes were staring at me with nothing but contempt. No one had been able to stop my tail with their bare hands before. At this point, I had no choice but to drop my weapon. I gave up. But Lieutenant Kang had finally seen his chance. He sprinted at me, still holding my tail in his left hand and the gun in his right. Then I heard a gunshot before I sank into an infinite darkness filled with nothing but regret. A few weeks later, I woke up in the ICU of Busan Metropolitan Hospital. I was incredibly lucky to survive the shot to my head. However, the bullet was lodged inside my skull in a delicate spot, so the doctors could not take it out. As a result, I always struggled in airports. The freaking metal detector always goes beep, beep, beep. I had to endure occasional migraines for the rest of my life. With my health condition, I thought that I would be reassigned to some boring post like the archives. But I didn't expect that they would ask me to resign. The police paid me a lot of money as compensation, but that was not what I had wanted. I want to be a police officer, damn it! How could everything turn out like this? Chang. Somehow, all of this kerfuffle ties into a story about a cat. It was the middle of the night. The full moon was high up in the sky. Oh, it's a werecat. A group of cats were gathering at the empty lot near the street. There were both house cats and stray cats. They formed a circle around a big empty pipe in the center of the lot. They were gonna summon Kitten Satan. Well, on top of the pipe sat a fat black cat. He was giving his usual speech. It was unsurprisingly about how humans like pet dogs and what we should do to make the humans like us more. Those two-legged walking monkeys only considered dogs to be smarter than cats because the dogs would fetch newspapers for them. But the truth was the opposite. It was the newspaper that brought the dog. Why should we bother to beg for the stupid humans? Who wouldn't even tell the cats were smarter than dogs to like us? I turned the dead sparrow in front of me around, making sure that there was nothing edible left. No matter how many times I had tried it, the taste of the organs was still disgusting to me. Yuck. I puked out a bottle of yellow liquid. A couple of house cats nearby sprinted away from me. Pfft. Pussies. Ah, well, you're not wrong. Blackie, the fat black cat, kept rambling on with his boring and pointless speech. I was picking my teeth with my claws. Suddenly, I felt a chill in the air. 'Twas already late autumn. Soon it would be the worst season for stray cats. I was 1 year old now, almost 20 in human years, so I was fairly strong. Still, lots of homeless cats had died at my age. Instead of wasting my time figuring out how to please those monkeys, I'd rather be preparing for the winter. That pipe seemed like a good place to use as shelter. I walked towards Blackie and jumped up to the pipe. Every shining eye stared at me, including Blackie's. He completely forgot what he was talking about. Excuse me, may I lie down here for a bit? You may keep going. Yes, continue. You thought I would say that? Winner takes all, the loser loses it all. And I, Spotty, wanted it all. I stared at Blackie and puffed up my fur. That's right, overwhelming my opponent was the way to do it. He raised a dried, salted fish. I spat on his face. Blackie was surprised by my spit, but he immediately swung the salted fish and hit my face with it. This enormous piece of dried salted fish represented unquestionable authority. Whoever had the dried salted fish was the leader of the cats. Furthermore, whoever was attacked by the dried salted fish, which right now meant me, would be considered the public enemy of the entire cat clan. A dozen cats sprung at me, biting my ears, clawing my paws, stepping on my back. Humans had a saying, 2 fists were no match for 4 hands. And I was facing 40 claws. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. Spotty. Ha. Huh? A piece of dried fish and a gun? That doesn't make any sense. I think I could come up with something funny here. But can I really just switch them like this? How could a cat be holding a gun? Of course, that's what our power is. No matter what, events will unfold exactly according to your arrangement of the text. Even if it's something ridiculous or even supernatural, it is still within the realm of the reasonable for us. This is how we were able to help Jimmy's class with the relay race. All we did was switch Jimmy from the last leg to the third leg, remember? As long as the internal logic of the story is not self-contradictory, there won't be any problems. In that case, what kind of logic shall we consider self-contradictory? For example, earlier we discussed that after someone fainted or even died, he or she would not be able to perform additional actions. Therefore, any additional actions after a piece where the subject passes out or worse would automatically disappear. Okay, I think I got it. Pluff, pluff, pluff. Like this? This gonna be funky. I slammed my tail on the pipe. Bang! It was my battle cry. Blackie wasn't shocked. This was probably the first time any cat had ever challenged him. He nervously pulled the trigger. Meow? Wait, why did he have a gun? An enormous sound echoed across the lot. A few windows in the nearby neighborhood lit up. The cats scattered as fast as they could, including Blackie. Only I was still sitting on top of the pipe in the empty lot. And my urine was dripping down from the pipe. I'd pissed myself. In any case, this was my territory now. My spit flew into his eyes and temporarily blinded him. I thought I had the upper hand, but Lieutenant Kang swiftly took a swing at me with his right hand, based on nothing but his hearing. He wasn't an easy opponent, that was for sure. A dried salted fish flew out of his right hand, charging towards me like a flash of light. Wait, a salted fish? I quickly moved aside and dodged it. Thank goodness it was just a dried salted fish. Well, now that you have missed your chance, it is my turn. I stomped on the ground and sprinted forward. I tightened my back muscles. I squeezed my sphincter and rotated my shoulder. Then swung my arm with my shoulder and finally punched him with my fist. Attack 3. Thunderbolt punch! I hit Lieutenant Kang straight in his chest. He flew backward and slammed into a pillar. Finally, I could tell that he would be dreaming about Buddha for a while. I wiped the sweat off my face and let out a long breath. I had avoided hitting the lieutenant's critical spots with the punch earlier. So knew he should be okay. But what kind of person was he, carrying around seafood like that? I never realized that I would witness not one but two masters in the Busan police precinct today. The custodian from the armory and Lieutenant Kang. How interesting. I suppose it wouldn't be too bad to stay in Unit 4 then. I would love to spar with the lieutenant in the future. Well. I'm getting good with these S ranks now.
내 탓이야. 바보같이.
1200 CC. Oh, we get to play Mario Kart. So we got Alicia, and then Li Wen, and then Chan. You know what? We're gonna do all of them. When we're doing as well as we're doing now, we might as well keep it going. Port of Busan, near Warehouse 23. About 40 people were there. Lying, standing, running. They're doing all kinds of scary shit. The fishermen who were up early for work had gathered around when they realized that something big had happened. The reporters who had heard some tips were huddling with them, hoping to catch any newsworthy material that could make a career. But the only two people who knew what had happened had already left the scene. Lieutenant Kang and the dried salty fish. The ambulance was traveling as fast as it could while trying to remain steady. Kang was lying on the seat opposite me. He was still unconscious. The medic said that he was basically asleep and that there was no need to worry. I wasn't surprised. After all, I had intentionally avoided his critical spots earlier. Maybe after the nap he would be even more relaxed. Tired. I felt so tired. First I had to knock out a mob of gangsters, then I had to be threatened by Choi Yo-han, and then I still had to fight the lieutenant. I hadn't slept the whole night. Still, I had so many questions in my head that I couldn't rest at all. Why would Lieutenant Kang attack me? Why a fish? And how had he become so strong like another person completely? What kind of secret had the lieutenant been hiding? Furthermore, this bald-headed muscular man who was lying between us due to loss of blood, who was he? Considering the situation with the lieutenant, I began to find this big man suspicious too. I quietly took a syringe from a tray near us and hid it, just in case one of them suddenly woke up and tried to stab me with it like a maniac. His veins. The medic mumbled something while trying to give the big man an IV. Suddenly the ambulance took a sharp left turn and the driver slammed on the brakes to slow down. I heard a few curses from the driver's seat. The ambulance started again, and we noticed that the needle had slashed the muscular man, that there was a deep cut in his arm. Strangely, though, there was no blood coming out of the cut at all. Transfiguration. With the undercover spies, and then includes more than just changing look, and with the however, and then with this, and then captives. Apprehended agent. Nice. I stared at the red operating sign in the ER. I was trying to remember the documentaries about transfiguration that I had seen in the police academy. Transfiguration was a skill that not only could change one's looks, but even one's figure. A transfiguration expert could wear a disguise that was good enough to fool anyone further than 20 centimeters away. This was my first time ever witnessing it at such a close distance. It was so shockingly real. The bodysuit had different thickness in different areas. The thicker parts perfectly resembled the texture of bulging muscles. The suit was also completely skin-tight once put on a person, leaving no gaps between the suit and the wearer's skin, preventing people from sensing anything unnatural by contact. It was very difficult to replicate the texture of real skin on the suit, though. Most people who wore it to transfigure themselves would be exposed when people touched their skin. However, this female senior officer with a perfect body was brave enough and skilled enough to go undercover in a violent gang, all while pretending to be a shirtless meathead. It simply meant that she must be a master amongst masters in transfiguration. The people in Unit 4 were practically superheroes. I took out a pack of tissues from my pocket and calmly wiped off the blood coming out of my nose. Not only was this my first time seeing somebody using transfiguration, it was also my first time seeing a naked, gorgeous woman like this. Lieutenant Kang had told me before that Officer Yi Yun had never attended the police academy, so she was even younger than me. More importantly, she also had a full head of shining long and straight black hair. She was essentially a goddess from my dreams. From now on, I would be able to spend time with a senior officer like this every day. I, Chang Yun-min, could die a happy man any time now. Someone had just come out of the operating room. It was a young nurse. She ran towards me as I was the only person in the hallway. "Are you a family member of the patient?" I nodded my head, shook it, and nodded again. "She has lost too much blood. We need at least 1200 cc more for a transfusion. But we are running out of blood. There haven't been enough donations recently. Our blood bank doesn't have enough blood of her type in storage. We're also having a shortage of another type too. I think it was type A. What is Officer Yi Yun's blood type? Type O. What was my blood type again? I remembered I had checked it before. Let me think. Yes, it was type A. Kang, who had been asleep since we got to the hospital, was suddenly standing behind me. Mine is type B. The nurse looked sympathetic. "I'm sorry, but neither of your blood types is a match. I'll have to go and call another hospital. I hope it's not too late." Here's with the blood type and with the ABO system. A few minutes after she had hurried away, the sign went off. The doctor slowly pushed open the door to the operating room. Everything seemed to be moving in slow motion, and the door looked like it was as heavy as a mountain. I'm so sorry. I held my head in my hands, staring at the floor. I couldn't breathe. It was all because of my little trick. If I hadn't shot her, if only I were a better police officer, she would still be alive. Well, how do we fix this? Oh! We switch around the blood types. What if you had a... You're short on the O. Isn't this fine? I think this is fine. If they're running out of O instead of A. The nurse looked at me. In this case, we can only take 400 cc from you. Oh. Well, let's see if we can put it on Lieutenant Kang instead then. See if he got enough blood to, save the situation here. I angrily kicked at the hospital bed in the hallway. Yep. Okay. So what if? Plop. There we go, fixed it. Nurse looked at Lieutenant Kang. Why would this... Hello? Does nobody have enough blood? Once she was done, the nurse picked up the tray and was about to leave. Wait! Take some more! Kang suddenly grabbed her hand. But if I do, you will... She tried to wiggle her hand out, but the lieutenant was not letting go. Just do it. It's my blood, and I get to decide what I want to do with it. I completely understood the lieutenant. If it had been me, which it was not long ago, I would do the same thing. Not just 400. If I had 4,000 cc, I would be willing to donate all of it. The nurse put her tray down and drew another. The lieutenant still wanted her to keep going, but she wouldn't do it no matter what. In the end, she ran away like she was trying to escape from us. An hour later, the sign went off, the doctor walked out, saw us, rubbed his eyes. The operation was a success, but the patient has lost too much blood and we are not sure when she will wake up. In the worst case scenario, never. I clenched my fists. Kang's breathing was getting louder and heavier too. She might fall into a vegetative state. Shit. Wait, isn't O like good with anything? So what if we do this? What if we do this? That's the worst. Cool. This isn't gonna help. Wait, this makes no sense. What if... What if this? Cause O, so I'm universal, right? There we go, both your blood types are a match. There we go, should be enough. I'll draw blood. Gently push the needle into my arm. I watch this my blood with the bag. You've been in unit for a while now. I never had the chance to tell you something. Kang leaned on the long bench next to me and spoke to me about the fish. Considering what I had accomplished today, was he going to reward me with something? Maybe another fish. To sell me something? Could it be? You're very good. You are the best new recruit I have ever seen. Unit 4 is so lucky to have you. I just couldn't stop my imagination. He took out a cigarette in the middle of the hospital and put it in his mouth. He started smoking while he was having his blood drawn. There we go. Back in the pack. Never be late again. If you are, I'll have you transferred. There we go. And thus, we turn our eyes to Li Wen and Alicia. Sunday afternoon, the sun was warm and the smell of the flowers was dancing in the early summer wind. I was standing in front of the exhibition center, waiting nervously. A few days ago, Mr. Wen had fainted in his apartment due to exhaustion. Fortunately, I had found him in time, otherwise the consequences would have been inconceivable. He had given me a ticket to the art exhibition today as a thank you. I'd been so excited when I got the ticket that I had forgotten to ask if it was the only ticket he had. Or would he be coming too? It also happened to be my birthday. I had not celebrated my birthday in years. But I specifically put on my favorite dress before I left my apartment. As a matter of fact, I had never heard of this exhibition's artist. To be better prepared, I had visited dozens of bookstores just to find a book of his collection. Even as late as last night, I had been looking up his work online and I hadn't gone to bed until it was almost daytime. I hadn't set 7 alarms just to make sure that I had set 7 alarms just to make sure that I wouldn't oversleep. At 1 p.m., the show had officially started. The line was getting shorter, but I still hadn't seen Mr. Wen. I took out my phone and hesitated, wondering whether or not to text him. Eventually, I decided not to. Another hour had passed. I couldn't stop myself anymore, and I sent him a text. The art show today is really cool. Thank you so much for the ticket, Mr. Wen. I'm in the gift shop near the north entrance. Right now, they have a lot of cute little thingies here. Are you coming today too, Mr. Wen? Another hour had passed. It started to drizzle. I sent him a text. It's raining. Remember to bring an umbrella with you if you are heading out, Mr. Wen. I wandered near the entrance, but I didn't want to walk too far away. Another hour had passed. There's a book signing at the west entrance right now. I just bought an art collection book. I think it's going to be sold out soon, Mr. Wen. Would you like me to buy you a copy? Another hour had passed. Mr. Wen, I'm about to head back! Thank you again. I waited until 5 o'clock and he never showed up. Perhaps he had only one ticket in the first place. It was my fault for assuming too much. The rain had turned from a drizzle to a downpour. I walked home alone without an umbrella. I couldn't tell if it was because of the rain, but I cried. Wait, don't you tie into the other letter? Don't you? Oh, I guess you don't. Okay, well. Then let's see if we can figure out the... Oh, God. There's too much text here, doggy. I don't think there are any obvious leads by reading this letter. In this story, how does the difference between the west entrance and the north entrance have an impact on the result? Judging from this letter alone, you're right. We are unable to tell how they will impact the ending yet. But I would still encourage you to give it a try by switching their positions. Maybe then you'll see the effects in the new ending. Sometimes you won't know for sure without trying. So you mean that the clues might not just be in the original letters, but they might also be hidden inside the other endings that we unlock? That's exactly right. Fuck, we're screwed. So what north entrance and west? Cool, that's bad. Wait. Oh, there we go. I didn't switch them. Whoops. I waited until 5 o'clock and he never showed up. I took off the Sir Spotty mascot costume and gave it back to the staff member at the west entrance. The staff member who had to take off earlier for an upset stomach kept thanking me. He said that if he hadn't found a stand-in before 4 p.m., he would have lost his year-end bonus. The rain had turned from a drizzle to a downpour. I walked home alone without an umbrella. D. Okay, so. What if this, and then another hour passed, and then the entrances, right? A garbage truck had a sudden flat tire, and I had a stroke on the road outside the north entrance. There was garbage everywhere. The staff of the exhibit all put their raincoats and ran down the stairs to pick up the trash. I decided to go up and help out since I wasn't doing anything anyway. Soon I happened to run into someone I knew in the crowd. It was Jimmy, who had just recently transferred to my school. What a coincidence. He started chatting while picking up garbage. Jimmy said he was a huge gamer, and he told me the plot from one of his favorite games, the Hentai VR one. In the game, the player could play as a god and help solve the humans' troubles. The funny thing was, those humans' troubles were all incredibly dumb. I could barely understand him, but judging from the excited look on his face, it must have been a pretty interesting game. It was already 7 o'clock when we were finally done, and the exhibition had been over for a while by then. Jimmy asked if I wanted to go and grab something to eat. I looked down at my phone and realized that the battery had run out. I felt a little choked up in my throat. Really? So what if we this? Let's see here. So 6 o'clock, with the downpour, I was still standing in the entrance waiting. The exhibition was over, the phone battery had run out, people were coming out of the exhibition center and raising their umbrellas. There were more and more umbrellas around me, everyone's faces was hidden behind one. I was slowly swallowed in an ocean of umbrellas and I couldn't even see the road outside anymore. I crouched down, the rain kept falling. I couldn't tell if it was because of the rain, but I cried. Well, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. What about this? Nope. What about Addism? Did I switch them? Wait, did I switch them? Yeah, I did. Wait. Well, now I'm confuzzled. With the garbage. Okay. It seems like it's the same. Oh, wait. Lots of people walked by and took pictures of me with their phones. I struck a pose cooperatively with a victory gesture. Look at me. I'm the guardian of the environment. Sir Spotty. It was already 7 o'clock when we were finally done. For a while, my father was the battery. In the end, I didn't see him. Well, at least we helped that guy. We're getting closer. But what if? North entrance and then west. Piss. Whoops. Nope. This might look like I'm just willy-nillying it, which is totally not the case, right? Just freaking work some... Hang on. I got all of them except for the one that I need! Gift shop near the north entrance, west entrance, with the book signing. Hang on. What was this one? North entrance, past 5 o'clock. So north entrance. That's not it. That's not it. Hang on. Slowly figuring things out. I like to pretend. This. There we go! Fixed it! Didn't I do this? Oh, I guess I didn't. With the downpours, a spotty costume, phone battery ran out, the exhibition was over, people were coming. Thank you so much for today. You can get out of the costume now. Again, you saved my life today. The staff member who kept thanking me with the year-end bonus. I was just about to pull the mascot head off when someone bumped into me. I couldn't see anything with the head on. I only knew that I was falling down the stairs. Ah, that's cute. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I finally stopped at the bottom of the stairs. I suspected that every bone in my body had been broken. I was sure that I must have looked pathetic, with the mud plastered all over myself. Are you okay? The voice sounded familiar. But I couldn't be sure because of the sound from the heavy rainfall. A powerful hand grabbed my arm and pulled me up. I took the mascot head off in a hurry. I saw in front of me that same casual outfit. He raised an umbrella over my head. But his shoulders were getting wet. We ordered 2 cups of hot cocoa from the cafe on the first floor of the exhibition center and sat at a table next to the window. The rain had become so heavy that we couldn't leave, but I was feeling like the luckiest girl on earth. He told me that the exhibition was organized for a friend of his. He didn't know I was still here until he had seen the text just a little while ago. There had been too many people at the entrance when he arrived, and he wouldn't have been able to find me if I had not been so eye-catching. La-di-da. So it was his friend's exhibition. He hadn't planned to come with me. Lightning suddenly flashed outside the window and all of the lights went out in the cafe. A waiter came over to apologize. He lit up a candle and placed it on our table. Romantic. The outside view became clearer now that it was darker inside. He turned and looked outside the window towards the blurry greenish mountain far away. He suddenly changed the subject. That mountain is called this. In weather like this, you can see the most beautiful rainbow in the mountains when the rain stops. Have you ever painted it? I remembered the paintings in his apartment. The rainbow in his painting must have been even more beautiful than the real one. But he shook his head. The most beautiful views can only live on in memories. I could see the candlelight flickering in his eyes. It was supposed to be the color of warmth, but I couldn't sense any temperature. A voice suddenly surfaced from deep within my heart, and it was overcoming my own self-control. I couldn't stop myself from blurting out the question. Mr. Wen, do you want to go home now? Sorry, I forgot, it is pretty late. Mr. Wen took his eyes away from the mountain, gave me an apologizing look, and reached for the umbrella next to our seats. No! Not that! Could I get a picture with you? What the hell was I talking about? I pulled out my phone in a hurry, but then I realized that the battery had run out quite a while ago. How embarrassing. I wanted to crawl into a hole. Mr. Wen took out his phone instead and handed it to a waiter passing by. I held onto the cup of cocoa nervously and smiled like an idiot. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Let's take another one. Young lady, get a little closer to your boyfriend, please. What? Boyfriend? You don't understand. I mean, really, Before I could explain, the waiter had taken another picture. I turned my head towards him, and he was so close. The first thing I did when I finally got home was plug in my phone. As soon as I turned it back on, I received a text from Mr. Wen. It was a photo. Later, I bought a brand new photo album. I printed the photo out and put it in the first page. It was the best birthday gift I had ever gotten. And we don't get to see it? Ah, dang it.
为什么会这样？
Oh, now Jim is sad. Hang on. 40 minutes. We can do Alicia too. We can do that. I picked up a random bottle from hundreds of bottles of fine wine in the underground wine cellar and put it on the luxurious short table in front of the old man. He nodded with approval and popped the cork. The bright red liquid was poured into an exquisite-looking wine glass, if I do say so myself. It was swirling and glistening like flowing ruby. Drink it! Drink it! Drink it! I was standing next to him. Sweat was pouring out from my forehead. I had mixed all of the sleeping pills I had stolen into the bottle. It would guarantee a nice nap if he would just drink one glass. Then I should be able to escape from his bedroom window. And I could finally escape this hellhole forever. Manishia's lips had already touched the glass when the housekeeper knocked on the door and informed him that there was a visitor. A man with only one arm was sitting on the sofa in the living room. A couple of tall, muscular bodyguards were standing behind him ready for instructions from their boss. I'd never seen Manishia act like such a spineless weasel before. He had the most cowardly smile on his face. He seemed determined to lower himself as much as possible in front of the one-armed man. The man yawned and grabbed the bottle of the flavored wine on the table. Ah, shit. Was he going to drink it? Oh no. If he fell asleep, my whole plan would be exposed. And if that should happen, I had to get out now. I quietly took a few steps back, looking for an opportunity to sneak out of the room. The one-armed man raised the bottle to his nose, sniffed, poured the wine out, knocked over the glass. He grabbed the old man towards himself by the collar. The one-armed man wiped his nose on Manishia's collar. You pathetic little prick. You dare try to drug me with sleeping pills. Manishias was shot in the face by the one-armed man before he could utter a word. As soon as the boss was dead, Shia's bodyguards immediately dropped their weapons and surrendered. All of the other servants and maids, including me, were running towards the nearest exits in a panic. Everyone wanted to get out of there as soon as they could. People were screaming, running into and falling over each other. It was total chaos. However, they didn't intend to let anyone leave here alive. I felt a sharp pain in my left leg. When I was only one turn away from the back door, I fell to the floor. Blood was oozing out of the wound in my ankle. I felt the cold barrel of a gun pushing against my forehead. I knew that if I moved even a little, another hole would appear there. Wait. The one-armed man walked over the body of the housekeeper and stopped in front of me. He pushed his man's gun away from my head. This one is pretty. Sent her to the auction house. I thought that it had been the Lord's blessing that had allowed me to survive. I thought that I had been at least more fortunate than the ones who had died. Never would I have imagined that soon I would be sold to a freak show circus in Southeast Asia. I would have my arms and legs cut off, I would be hung in a cage like a stick, and fed by people like an animal, just for exhibition. Heavenly Father, why wouldn't you save me? Well, we'll see if we can do just that. Wait, why can I only switch these things? What if we do it the completely opposite direction here? Or order? With the sleeping pills, forced the wine down his throat. The liquid that overflowed from his mouth turned his shirt to the same bright red color. It was, she did it. He raised his trembling arm and pointed at me. I turned around and ran, but I couldn't outrun the bullet. And I died. Well, that ain't it. What if this? Okay. What if this? Okay. What if this? Cool. What listen. Wait, what? Wait. Is this not showing me that this is the good one that I should be getting? Or is this just showing me that those are the ones that I have? Oh, right, it's just the ones that I have. Okay, so... Nope. And... Nope. Okay, so it's not he grabbed the old man towards the collar. Last. It's not second either. So it has to be first. Wait, something's wrong here. I've done all of them. I've done every single thing I can. Look. He grabbed the old man towards himself by the collar. Let's have that first and then poured the wine out, knocked over the glass. That's bad. So we can switch these two. That's bad. So it's not that. Now let's try it with knocked over the glass first. Not that. Not that. Okay. Now let's try poured the wine out first. Knocked over the glass. And I have now tried every single thing. And I get an X here. Is that because I need to do something else in another story? I didn't mean to do that! Is that because I need to do something else in a different story first to tie that together with Alicia's story and then we get the solutions to save her? Well, in that case, that will have to wait until the next one. For now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see you in the next one. Alright, I'm out.